Let's argue. Hello and welcome to Extreme Gameplays, where I play games stylishly. Today's video is Let's Argue. This is a series where I go through the God of War community hot takes and give my opinion on them. Let's go. Coming in first with Combo Spartan saying, I like God of War 2 story and hype more than God of War 2018. Now don't get me wrong, God of War 2018 is an amazing story, but it doesn't live up to the hype God of War 2 story created. Like, I remember playing God of War 2 and thinking, what the hell, they just ended this game at a cliffhanger. He is going to take on entire Olympus, and then the shot of Kratos climbing the mountain with all the gods waiting for him at the summit. In my opinion, nothing beats that hype. I was hyped at the end of God of War 2018, but not as comparable to God of War 2. When God of War 3 dropped, man, it delivered on that. Now, here's where I'm gonna come in and agree with this take. God of War 2 sets up the next game in a very dramatic way. It's almost undefeatable for me. And Combo Spartan explained it fully. The game leaves you hyped and stuff, but at the same time, we can't really just put God of War 4 to the side. If you're talking about the Jotunheim ending, then sure, nothing crazy seems to happen or set up. Although there is that whole Kratos dying shtick, but besides that, nothing all that crazy. But, oh, there's always a but in this situation. When you go home and sleep and Atreus has that dream where Thor is revealed in it, oh god, like that makes it such a close second to God of War 2's ending. When you see Thor, you kind of get reminded, hey man, you kind of fucked everything up in this game. There will be consequences next game, so be prepared. And then you just want to smash Thor's face in. So I don't know, let me know, guys. Just tell me down in the comments, what do you think, God of War 2 or 4's, you know, hype up? Our next hot take by Cruz Civil saying, I think the axe is bland. It's not as creative as the blades. When God of War 1 released, the blades were pretty unique and I don't like the RPG elements. I also think the game could have benefited with a jump button to make platforming harder. Outside of that, the game is still amazing. Woo! A lot of points I see. Okay, the first point, I agree. The axe may not be as creative, but the axe sure is a very close second to the blades. And it's not an axe thing, it's a blades thing. These milky, juicy babies right here can never be topped. Iconic and unique in every kind of way, making other weapons seem bland. The axe is up there being my second favorite weapon and it deserves it. I mean, just the thought of Kratos being able to call the axe back makes it a heavy contender. So yeah, it's not that the axe is bland, it's just that the blades are too fucking good to be topped. His next point, I agree with again, although some people like it. I mean, to each their own. I hate how the enemies are designed around an RPG system. Next and last point, where you talk about how the game would have benefited from a jump mechanic, and I've fought with myself for a long time saying how the game needs jumping and aerial combat, but I simply don't see that working. I'll believe it when I see it, but for now, just know no one wants jumping to be back more than I do. So yeah, disclaimer, please keep your hot takes short. Have 1 point in your hot take from now on so that more people get to be in the video. Thank you. Next hot take by Crazy Fin Dude. Theseus on Titan mode in God of War 2 is the hardest boss in the franchise, lol. Okay, this one I understand, but nothing more. I do believe he is the hardest boss in God of War 2, making him my second favorite boss in the game, but I don't think he's the hardest in the whole franchise, so yeah, all you need to do is to strategize and take your steps carefully. It's a very fun boss in my opinion. Next hot take by Who's Let. Hot take, God of War 2 has the worst secondary weapons in the franchise. And I gotta say, no. I believe God of War Chains of Olympus takes the crown for worst secondary weapon, although it's a very good and fun weapon. Would you look at that? Even the worst secondary weapon is better than 90% of every weapon from every other game. Thing is, you can't compare it to the Spear of Destiny or the Blade of Olympus from God of War 2 in my opinion. It just can't. I don't know. Next hot take by D to the S. Sigwin is a terrible abomination in every category except design, and yes, I beat her. No. Dude, no. How is she bad? She's not bad. She's a baddie who belongs to my bedroom.
She belongs to the streets.
Her mechanics are fun, the boss is like 99% balanced, and if you learn all her moves, the boss is 50 times more fun than ever. It turns into this amazing dance where you show your skills, so that's that for the combat. Story, how is the lore an abomination for Sigwin? I mean, isn't it great how you fight 8 Valkyries until you reach her and she tells you what Odin did and how Freya is the true queen of the Valkyries? What part of that is an abomination, my dude? Totally disagree. Mid ratio. Next hot take by Talfa Zero. I'm sorry. Having some skyscraper-sized hot takes, I see. Please from now on leave a single hot take. Everyone, please. Thank you. I need a lot more people to be in the video. Anyways, he's saying God of War Ragnarok would not win Game of the Year against Elden Ring, even if it had Odin and Zeus boss fights. The Baldur boss fight is not a good boss fight. That's his second point. The third point. Ascension is a better game overall than God of War 2. Let that sink in. And the franchise on a whole would have been better if we had started with it. What? God of War 3 is still the best due to being the most explosive and climactic way to end the trilogy. God of War 1 is okay as an introductory work, and the PSP games are dope and griping side quests essentially. Nothing wrong with them. Okay, so about the first point. I actually think it might win the Game of the Year. Nothing against Elden Ring. That game is amazing, but it has a lot of flaws. So I don't know really. Oh, and if God of War Ragnarok has Odin and Zeus boss fight, boy, that game about to win an Oscar if anything. They're about to win a Grammy. Hell, it might be conducted to the Hall of Fame of Rock and win all the Grammys and Pulitzers and you know. So yeah, I don't agree. I mean, who am I to not agree? We still haven't gotten the game, so I don't know. Why would you say this? Why would I say what I just said? His next point, yeah, I agree, is the worst boss fight from God of War 4. His last point, however, about Ascension being better than God of War 2.
Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin?
Yes, that's what you just did. God of War 2 is on a whole other level. God of War 2 is the shadow realm of the Greek games. And I love God of War 3 simply because it has better combat and mechanics and has more bosses that I love. Although Lachesis is my favorite in the franchise. God of War Ascension can't touch God of War 2. Even though the combat is better in Ascension, even with the amazing graphics, it can't. And that's not coming from hatred, bro. Like, just don't get me wrong. If you know Zesty, you know how much he adores God of War Ascension. I'm basically living a hot take. God of War Ascension is a pretty good game, so yeah, I cannot agree with this. It would hurt me if I did, and it's just wrong. Other than just God of Wars, in my humble opinion, there's not a single sequel out there in gaming better than God of War 2. Resident Evil 2 comes very close. Not as good as what God of War 2 did to the franchise, but Resident Evil 2 really was a great sequel. I don't know how to explain it, but not better than God of War 2 in my opinion. That's all that I can say. God of War 2 is better than Ascension any day of the week. Our next hot take by Afonso Amorim. Afonso Amorim. The combat system in God of The combat system in God of War 4 is the best combat system in all the series. RPG system in God of War is underrated and a lot of fun. Now
Noah!
Fuck! Now I straight up do not agree with that. Oh honey, you're squirting all over your pretty feet. And it is a great combat system. But for me simply... Oh god! What he said wasn't even funny. It's just God of War 4's combat is a lot of fun if you know how to do stuff with it. And it is a great combat system, but for me simply put, it can never reach God of War 3 and Ascension's combat. Maybe even 2 if you ask me. And it's not coming from a place of bias towards the old games. It's just that I have more fun comboing in the old games than God of War 4. Although it's very fun to combo in God of War 4. Sorry. To maneuver in control rooms and stuff, it's a lot of fun. So I don't agree with your take, but I can understand where you're coming from. Our next take by JC. Goated. Nemean says this weapon is extremely overrated. I rarely use them in battle if I'm not forced to. And also the Nemesis whip are really cheap and lazy weapon and straight up a ripoff of the Blades of Chaos. It should have just been for the puzzles, not a weapon. I would say the same thing to Hades' weapon too, but it was in God of War 2 in a cutscene and it's different enough to feel like its own weapon. I like using them a lot.
My money don't jiggle jiggle.
JC, why you do me like that, bro? It's only game. Why you do me like that? I'm gonna be coming in with a hard no! My first walkthrough in God of War 3, the moment I got the Nemean Cestus, I never changed to another weapon for like an hour or so. It's simply infinite fun punching enemies, doing crazy damage and stuff. And even now, I love how diverse the weapon is and how great it is, how it's both fast and effective for damage output. And now next, how are the Nemesis whip cheap? You're literally using the lightning of Zeus on crack. All the attacks having lightning to them and how fast they are the best for building and starting combos, so I don't know, man. I don't agree with either of your points. The Nemesis Whip has the Hyperion Ram. It has the amazing magic, the fast magic attack that looks like a sniper bullet. All the fast, crazy attacks. I don't know, dog. I don't agree. I don't agree. I'm sorry, JC. I just don't. This is the end of this video. Please do not leave a hot take in the comments. Only do so when I say so, please! Because I have some catching up to do. There are a lot of hot takes that I don't want left out. So please don't leave anything in. Thank you all for 6,000 subscribers. This is crazy. The channel is going crazy. I can't describe how happy I am. I really can't. Make sure to share the content to whoever loves God of War. And it's been your Extreme Gamers ST. Peace, don't hate me. Peace, goodbye.